Hi there. It's November 25th and time for Proverbs 25. Let's jump over there and we'll get into it. Now these are similitudes and instructions. Okay, verse 1 says, "These are also Proverbs of Solomon, which the men of Hezekiah, king of Judah, transcribed." Which means they found these, they put them together, and it was added to the book of Proverbs. Some of them are repeats that we've heard before, which bear hearing again. So let's get into what the men of Hezekiah, king of Judah, transcribed. Okay? "It is the glory of God to conceal a matter, but the glory of kings is to search out a matter. As the heavens for height and the earth for depth, so the heart of a king is unsearchable." Yeah. "Take away the dross from the silver, and there comes out a vessel for the smith." That's the slag, some people call it. "Take away the wicked before the king, and his throne will be established in righteousness." "Do not claim honor in the presence of a king, and do not stand in the place of great men." Now this is a good one. "For it is better that he say to you, 'Come up here,' than for you to be placed in a lower place in the presence of the prince whom your eyes have seen." Okay? Never go right to the front and assume you have a great place, because then they say, you need to be in the back. Okay? It's better to be, and this is humble, be humble. Sit in the back. And they'll say, "Hey, come up here, sit by me." That's much more honorable. Do not go out hastily to argue your case. Otherwise, what will you do in the end when your neighbor humiliates you? Yes, plan ahead. And a lot of people just jump into it without thinking what they're going to say. "Argue your case with your neighbor and do not reveal the secret to another." Okay? If you got something with your neighbor, take it to him. Taking it to other people is gossip. The Lord hates gossip. Okay. "Argue your case with your neighbor and do not reveal the secret to another, or he who hears it will reproach you, and the evil report about you will not pass away." Right? "Like apples of gold in settings of silver, as a spoken word in right circumstances." Right? Say the right thing at the right time. Or, what does Solomon say? If you can't, keep your mouth shut. "Like an earring of gold and an ornament of fine gold is a wise reprover to a listening ear." Same thing. "Like the cold of snow in the time of harvest is a faithful messenger to those who send him, for he refreshes the soul of his masters." Okay. Now the time of harvest is very hot, very sweaty work, and nice cold would feel good. "Like clouds and wind without rain is a man who boasts of his gifts falsely." By forbearance a ruler may be persuaded, and a soft tongue breaks the bone. Right? "Have you found honey? Eat only what you need, that you not have it in excess and vomit it out." Right? Too much is not good for you. "Let your foot rarely be in your neighbor's house, or he will become weary of you and hate you." Right? Don't wear out your welcome. "Like a club and a sword and a sharp arrow is a man whose false witness against his neighbor." Right? Is a man who bears false witness against his neighbor. Right? "Like a bad tooth and an unsteady foot is confidence in a faithless man in time of trouble." Like one who takes off a garment on a cold day, or like vinegar on soda, is he who sings songs to a troubled heart. Yes. Vinegar, if you take vinegar and add baking soda to it, it takes all the acid out of it, so it's just plain liquid. So, explains that a little bit, If your enemy is hungry, give him food to eat. If he is thirsty, give him water to drink. For you will heap burning coals on his head, and the Lord will reward you. Got that? That one's used a lot in pastors and sermons, and Jesus said it, love your enemies. Yeah, let's read that again. If your enemy is hungry, give him food to eat. If he is thirsty, give him water to drink. For you will heap burning coals on his head, and the Lord will reward you. Okay? The north wind brings forth rain, and a backbiting tongue an angry countenance. It is better to live in a corner of the roof than in a house shared with a contentious woman. Literally, a woman with contentions in a house of association. Yeah. Like cold water to a weary soul, so is good news from a distant land. Yeah. We're all looking for good news from a distant land now, aren't we? Like a trampled spring in a polluted well is a righteous man who gives way before the wicked. Like a trampled spring in a polluted well is a righteous man who gives way before the wicked. Stand your ground. It is not good to eat much honey, nor is it a glory to search out one's own glory. That's bragging. Don't brag. Be humble. Like a city that is broken into and without walls is a man who has no control over his spirit. Right. Control your spirit. Okay, so the spirit is the light of God as well. The human spirit is the light of God. Solomon said that earlier. So that's 25. Let's see what we highlighted on here. Not a whole lot. We did them, but these are Proverbs of Solomon, which men of Hezekiah, king of Judah, transcribed, found and transcribed. We highlighted 6. Do not claim honor in the presence of the king, and do not stand in the place of great men, for it is better that it be said to you, come up here, than for you to be placed lower in the presence of the prince, whom your eyes have seen. Okay? So don't automatically be humble. Don't automatically jump up to the front and think you're important. It's better to be called out as important than to be going, I'm sorry, your place is back there. That's humiliating. Okay? Verse 8, do not go out hastily to argue your case, otherwise what will you do in the end when your neighbor humiliates you? Yeah. Don't be hasty. A lot of people are like this. They just jump in and start fighting, and they don't no idea what they're talking about, and they get humiliated. When somebody points out the obvious to them. Yeah. Highlighted verse 17. Let your foot rarely be in your neighbor's house, or he will become weary of you and hate you. Okay? Don't wear out your welcome. Wait to be invited. Okay? Verse 21 and 22. If your enemy is hungry, give him food to eat. If he is thirsty, give him water to drink. For you will heap burning coals on his head, and the Lord will reward you. Yeah. Okay. And Jesus talked about this quite a bit. Okay. Verse 27, and it is not good to eat much honey, nor is it glory to search out one's own glory. Okay? Don't brag. Be humble. Let other people brag on you. Okay? Verse 28, like a city that is broken into and without walls is a man who has no control over his spirit. Right? We all know people like that. So, that's Proverbs 25 for November 25th. Getting towards the end. So, that's today's Proverbs. Have a good Saturday. Have a good weekend. Don't shop too much. Read the Word. Get to know God. See See you tomorrow.